Hello, and welcome to Riffs on Writing with Andy and Caroline, where we answer your writing and publishing questions in 10 minutes or less.
Hey, everybody. Today we are talking about ways to improve your writing besides just reading, because that's what we think is the fundamental thing. But there are lots of other ways. One is to read other people's writing critically, right? To read it with a pencil in hand. I mean, even the greats, I mean, Hemingway could handle it. Read it and say what works and what doesn't work. Make notes and then think about how it be very thoughtful and apply it to your work, right? Be like, okay, so Fitzgerald did this. I don't know why I'm on the 20th century American white guy theme today, but here we are. Take it over and say, okay, well, if this is how Adichie ends her book, I want to try what that looks like in mine. Like literally apply it. See, I went from white American dudes to African women. I'm trying.
Good. Of course, I agree. That's perfect because that's just because this is about learning. So it does have to have an academic bent to it because there's no other way to get around that. Another way to improve your writing skills is to be part of a writing group. The trick to writing groups is we might have an episode about finding the perfect writing group later, but the trick is to find people who might be a little bit better than you, who are actively writing and not just talking about writing, because just having your peers critique it, you can listen to how they're critiquing it, how they're approaching your work. And then my favorite are courses. There are so many adult continuing education courses. I'm taking a phenomenal one. My instructor is literally the book critic for, I think it's the Washington Post. She's worked for LitHub. Like, the woman has cred behind her, and she's teaching a writing course. And yeah, some of the things I already know when we talk about publishing. Of course, that's not new to me. But when she looks at my work, yeah, I listen, I pay attention. So I think that those are really key things, and they're also outside of just you.
That's right. Yeah. And I would say too, like look at master classes, like the capitalized master classes, right? Margaret Atwood teaches one, Neil Gaiman teaches one. Look at these authors who are offering lessons in how they do their work. And it's an investment, but it's worth it. I mean, the other investment you can make is in an editor. I mean, hiring someone to give your book a manuscript review, right? Just to look through it and be like, here's what I think's really working in here, and here's what I don't. Vet your editors well, make sure they're experienced and they work in your genre. But it can be a worthwhile investment, especially if you're early in your career, to get that very good, very personalized, very thorough editorial feedback. It does cost money, but if your goal especially is to make money writing books, it's worth the money. It's worth the investment.
I'm gonna say that even if your goal isn't necessarily to make money writing books, you should be doing that too if you're thinking about publishing your book. If you're writing your book for yourself, just write. If you are thinking about publishing your book, then you owe it to potential readers to have that editor's critical eye, and also to be learning as much as you can. And I'll just use an example that has nothing to do with writing, but I think everybody will be able to make the make the links and understand what I'm talking about. I used to dance, and I had a number of people that I knew who were in a company. It wasn't a huge company, but it was a company that performed around town. It was a company that asked people to pay to see the performances. And a lot of these dancers took maybe 2 classes a week, 3 classes a week. And, of course, they had rehearsals. But that to me is insulting to your audience. And because you need to be your best, right? This is a craft, and you need to be your best, and you need to be doing your best, and you need to be getting better. And that's sort of what differentiated them from people who were in the top companies, who take daily class, who are dancing all day and then cross training. And this is the same thing. Think of having an editor, think of taking a class, or any kind of class. Think of that as cross-training for your writing. You need that. You can't do it. There is not an athlete in the world that doesn't cross-train. There isn't a musician in the world that doesn't do something complementary to improve their music. And as a writer, you're no different.
That's right. And I'd say too, like if you're at the very beginning stages of this and budget is an issue, reach out to a writer you admire. I mean, let's not shoot for the stars and think that, John Grisham's always my example. John Grisham's going to read your book, but maybe there's somebody whose book you really like that also would appreciate feedback, and swap feedback with them. If it's a budget thing, offer what you can give and barter for it. Also claim that on your taxes. I'm not a tax advisor, but that's something you have to claim, any bartering. But that's an easy way to kind of get started in getting feedback and improving your craft without any financial investment at all.
Exactly. Great. So hopefully this has helped some of you. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and please tell everybody about us, and please like what you see. And we will see you next time.